it's 7:15 the morning after we did the Chinese water deer yesterday afternoon. We've come up to the edge of the big wood. Normally by now, if I was out for red deer, I've been out on a field with a thermal in the dark, seeing where the herd are, and then just, you know, waiting on the edge and getting a shot on them as soon as I've got enough light in the field. But obviously with the camera, we can't do that because you guys won't see anything. It'll still be pitch black for the camera. So we're a little bit later than we should be for just out culling a red as normal, but we're going to go through the wood, have a look on some fields the other side. If there's something there, we'll just have to wait for it to get light enough so the camera can see what's happening. But I reckon they'll probably have gone in, so we're probably looking at just hanging around for a bit, waiting for the light to come up in the wood, and then we'll go stalking through the wood for a red and see what we come across at the same time. There's a little row just crossed in front of us. Just keep heading through and have a look on the field at the edge. There's no reds out here, but it looks like 800-900 metres away in the next field there's a couple of row out, so maybe we'll just head down towards those and see if we can get close enough to take one of those, and then we'll curl round into the corner of the wood and start stalking up through those rides in the wood. I can't see those two row that were out in that next green cereal field anymore, so they must have just drifted in somewhere. Or sat down around a couple of old oak trees that are out there. There's quite a few of these wild peacocks that have come out of the corner of the wood now across that field, so I think we'll just cut straight across and go into the wood, sort of in the middle of this block, and then we won't spook all of those back in and alert anything that might be in the wood. Just head into the wood, just take it nice and steady. The reds are pretty jumpy now because we've had a go at them a bit, so we'll just have to go really quietly. It's probably going to be one of those ones that if we see one, I'll just have to get the gun up and shoot. I'm not sure that the cameraman's going to have time to get the camera on it properly, so we'll just see what happens. There's a muntjac just sat in this bush here, but we won't get a shot through all the rubbish. I can just see it in the thermal. I was hoping there was going to be some just stood down this ride because it's a bit of a favourite spot for the reds. But they're obviously not going to make it easy this morning, which means they're going to be sort of stood in this horrible, thick, overgrown hazel and wind-blown ash area behind me on this side. So we'll just keep going down steady, just look for the thermal to see if we can get a chink of heat, and then just see if we can get a gap through the trees if they are there. Just picked up something with the thermal through the trees here. I can't make it out in the binoculars. I'd imagine it's a red. It looks like it's got a big meat source. Yeah, I can see it moving its head. Looks like a decent sized stag, so we can't take it anyway, and it looks like it's sat down. head, but it's sat down on the ground, and as it's moved its head you can just see it's got decent antlers on it. So there'll probably be more there than that one, but I can't see any more at the moment. Just go on a little bit more. Red hinds in front here. They're all different distances. There's just so many trees and branches in the way, and they're walking towards me, so I don't have a very good shot on any of them. Can't see them. Just can't get a shot on them with all the branches. Well, there's one right there looking at me. Still a few others there, but there's no shots on any of them. It's just too messy. Yeah. Well, I think we've got two down there. They were quite clear in the thermal when we were a few metres back that way, but there was just so many branches and fallen trees in the way, I just couldn't get a decent shot on any of them, and they were actually sort of coming towards us a bit, so all it was sort of heads and necks, but they were still, the ones I was looking at were still 150 metres away, so a bit too risky at that sort of distance. So we just moved a few metres down, and then one which I hadn't seen at all was actually stood in quite a clear bit, so I managed to, well, I still had the gun on the sticks at the front, so I managed to get a shot at that, about 80 metres, just in the sort of upper front part of the chest. And then the others were milling around because they didn't know we were here. And then another one walked in from the right, so I got a shot on that one as well. And then the rest have just run off away from us, going out to the left here. So yeah, get the cases picked up and we'll go and have a look. That's good. Calf. And then this one looked like quite an old hind. Yeah. Good result. So this was the second one I shot. It's a calf, so probably a calf of the hind that I shot first. This one was just stood there facing away from me, 80 metres, so I actually shot it in the back of the head. So I can bleed this one because it hasn't been shot in the heart lungs, obviously, so the blood will still come out of that. So to do that, I like to turn them over so their right side is on the floor Okay, so I've turned the deer over so its right side is down, so I've got the legs facing towards me. Grab hold of the front legs, pull them back, and I like put them behind my leg. Get my knife, feel for where the front of the sternum is, which is about in here in the middle of the shoulders. So knife in, little cut, and if you've got the right place, the blood will come flowing out. You can pump it out a little bit if you want, or you can leave it on a bit of a slope going downhill and it will just drain out. Obviously when you heart lung shoot them, all the blood's draining into the cavity anyway, so you don't need to bleed them. It won't come out like that. All you're doing is really just draining it, whereas this is actually getting it out of the deer's system. We're not far away from a ride through the wood there, but this one I'd probably drag on my own to the edge, but that bigger one, I think for the sake of my back, we've obviously got to go and get the trailer anyway. So we'll get the quad on the trailer and then we can just quad these out. There's no point doing your back in. We've still got 3 months of the season to go. Right, it's just after 9 o'clock, so we'll head back, get the trailer and a quad and go and get those picked up. Do a little bit of manual work. Well, here we are back at the larder. I'll get these two sorted out and put in the chiller. I'd say the calf is going to weigh around 45-50 kilos and the big hind sort of anything from 75 to 95 kilos. So yeah, thanks for watching. Nice to get a couple of red on the film eventually. Yeah, and we'll see what we're up to next month.